Pick up your child from school and you could be charged with trespassing. That's the threat some parents say is being made against them at Bear Branch Elementary School in Magnolia ISD. Parents who try to walk their kids out of the school face the possibility of criminal charges. There are even Montgomery County constables on campus to enforce the new rule. The school district has sent a statement saying the goal of the rule is a safe dismissal process. The school says no parent has been arrested for wanting to pick up their child and walk them home from school, but letters have been sent out reminding them of the dismissal procedures. That's our topic this half hour. We want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page. You can also weigh in on Twitter. Just use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in the newsroom is our panel led by our Fox 26 senior legal analyst Chris Tridico. We have our Democratic media consultant Mustafa Tamiz and Republican strategist and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. Good morning again.
Good morning.
So the school's saying, look, you can take your kid from school, but you have to do so after the car line is over to ensure that everything runs smoothly. What are the legalities with this, Chris? I mean, is the school allowed to say that?
Sure. I mean, the principal gets to make the policies for her own school, and the school district, the board of trustees gets to oversee those policies. And so I don't see anything technically or legally wrong with the policy that the principal has come up with. It's just a little bit overbearing to send letters home with constables that says if you don't follow my policy and if you come on campus before the car riders have left, you'll be arrested for trespassing. That part of it is over the top and overbearing, and then that's really what caused the problem here. And don't tell me you didn't do that, because the superintendent sent out a letter explaining this to everybody, and he said we sent letters home to certain parents who were causing a problem with a constable. Well, the only reason, and I've worked in education for 28 years, and the only reason they send a letter home with a constable is to tell them if you come back on campus, we're going to arrest you for trespassing. That was a trespass notice, and so that's what caused this controversy. There's probably a better way to do this. There's more than one door at a school. You can release car riders out of one door and walkers out of another door, and there's probably a better way to do this where everybody will be happy.
Yeah, the biggest problem is a lot of our communities are neighborhood schools. So we move into these communities to have easy access to our schools, to have our children ride their bike, or we can walk to the school or walk midway to get them. As a single mom, this would be a problem for me. I always enjoy making sure that I have that time with my sons, because that's when they talk, right? So I will rearrange the schedules of my day, have meetings before and after, but that pickup point is very important to me. So they're saying if I have maybe a 20-minute window, I'm not allowed to do that because of certain issues that they want, and they want me to come after that. You are really putting things on a parent that is unnecessary. And I think this is going to lead to many problems. People move into certain communities to be able to walk their kids to school and to have access to them after school.
Principal gets to make the policies for her own campus, and if she says, look, I've looked at this, this is the safest way I can release these children, this is the way it's got to be. What's wrong with that?
There's more to this. I think there's probably one or two or three specific parents that walked in, had a big fight with the principal, and they rolled out a policy for those three people, but it affects everyone. And that's probably what this is about, and the letter kind of suggested that. Look, we think of national politics have becoming brass knuckles. Well, local school politics have been brass knuckle for a real long time. Right, exactly.
Go to a school board meeting.
Rough. Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Let me go to Sally. She's monitored our social media.
Yeah, and it does seem like, you know, the feathers of a few parents were ruffled in this instance, and a few have not been playing by the rules. Some are on our Facebook page here to Andrea Watkins, who was our original reporter on this story. In the middle here, she just says that, you know, parents were not being threatened with arrest. You know, she disputes that. She says parents in repeated violation were reminded of the policy and told further action could be taken if they chose to continue deliberately violating it. John says in the middle here, so they're refusing to release walkers until after car riders are gone. How is holding children after the end of the school day legal? He says this is strange. How bad must the school layout be if there is no safe place to release walkers? And Laura says, hey, look, trying to get hundreds of young children home safely, whether they're riding a bus, getting a car, walking home, has to be well thought out. If anyone has an idea of how to make it run more efficiently, please speak up. So, Chris, maybe you can go there and point out some of these other doors that you think the school must have.
Well, and John's point was my point. You know, where my kids went to elementary school, the bus riders went out one door, the car riders went out one door, and the walkers went out another door, and everybody was fine. And so I've never been to this school, but that just seems to me that that's got to be a way to go. I mean,
and what they need to do is go to other schools and see how it's done. I'm sure they don't have a population larger than most of the schools in Sugar Land or most of the schools in Fort Bend ISD.
It's Magnolia, for crying out loud,
and we don't really sit there and say, you know, we're holding back one group for another group. So they need to go to other schools and see how those times are implemented.
Well, I think they're trying to base a policy from 2 or 3 parents that are trying to
that
prove
affects
a point.
everybody now.
They're trying to prove a point. Those parents are probably going through the traffic saying, I'm not gonna stop, regardless of what you have to say, principal, and the principal overreacted. Hopefully this will get back to normal, and if you're in that area and you're being called to take sides, don't.
All right, we'll see where it goes, and you know, the principal's got to run the school, and end of the day, you got to really support the principal for saying, look, I got to run a safe and efficient school.
Exactly, yeah. And unfortunately for her now, you know, this story is blown up and gone all across the country and brought some kind of attention that she didn't want. So, all right, thanks for the insight. We're going to send